generation programming languages. Fourth-generation programming languages provide visual environment, making it easy for the user to write computer programs. Common properties of these languages. 1. Close to human languages such as English. 2. Ability to learn the languages within a short period. 3. Ability to accomplish a task by using a smaller number of commands relative to third-generation programming languages. Middle-level language. A language which is somehow closer to machine as well as human. Middle-level language. A middle-level language is one which is closer to machine, computer, as well as to human, programmer. A language that has the features of both low-level and high-level languages. More formally, a high-level language that allows you to write low-level programs in it is called as middle-level language. Middle-level language. Some of the middle-level programming languages are C. IBM PLS, Programming Language, Systems. BCPL, Basic Combined Programming Language. BLIS, Builds Language for Implementing System Software. Source Code and Object Code. Source Code. The set of instructions written in any language other than machine language is called as source code. It is not directly understood by the machine, computer. Object code. The set of instructions written in machine language is called as object code. It is also known as machine code. It is the only code which is directly understood by the machine, computer. Source code. It is in the form of text. It is human readable. It is generated by human, programmer. It is input to the language translator. Object code. It is in the form of binary numbers. It is machine, computer, readable. It is generated by the language translator. It is the output of the language translator. Language translator. Language translator is a program that converts the source code into the object code. Source code. Translator. Convert. Object code. Why language translators? Computer only understands object code, machine code. It does not understand any source code. There must be a program that converts source code into the object code so that the computer can understand it. The language translator is one which does this job. The programmer writes the source code and then translator converts it in machine-readable format, object code. Programming language translator. A programming language translator is the piece of software that translates a computer program written in some specific programming language into another programming language. We use programming language translators every day. Compilers, interpreters, and assemblers are the most famous forms of programming language translators. Types of language translators. There are three types of language translator: compilers, interpreters, assemblers. Assemblers. Assembler is the language translator that converts assembly language code into the object code, machine code. Compiler. Compiler is the language translator that converts high-level language code into the object code, machine code. It converts the whole code at a time. Compiler. Read whole program. Convert whole program into object code. Execute. Interpreter. Interpreter is the language translator that converts high-level language code into the object code, machine code. It converts the code line by line. Interpreter. Interpreter. Convert into object code. Execute. Difference between compiler and interpreter. Compiler. It converts whole code at a time. It is faster. Requires more memory. Errors are displayed after entire program is checked. Example: C, C++, Java. Interpreter. It converts the code line by line. It is slower. Requires less memory. Errors are displayed for every instruction interpreted, if any. Example: GW Basic, Ruby, Python. Bug. An error or defect occurred inside a computer program or hardware that causes it to produce an incorrect or unexpected result, or to behave in unintended ways is called as a bug. Most of the bugs arise from mistakes and errors made by programmer in source code. Bug. The term bug was used by Grace Hopper in 1946. Hopper used to work on Mark II computer. There some error occurred in the system. The cause of the error was a moth bug trapped in a relay creating short circuit. That caused the term bug to be coined. Debugging. It is the process of finding and fixing the bugs, errors, in the program. It is the process of removing errors. The programmer manually does this by examining the source code. Computer programming. It is the process of giving instructions, commands, to the computer to do a meaningful task. It is an act of teaching the computer on how to do a task. The art and science of creating instructions for a computer to follow. Creating a sequence of instructions to enable the computer to do something. Why programming? Computer is just a dumb machine made up of different components. It is like a box which cannot do anything by itself. It is the user who tells the computer what it has to do. If we need our computer to perform some task, we first have to teach the computer in detail how it will accomplish that task. Once the computer is taught about a particular task, it will completely obey it but cannot do anything that it is not taught to. Like the humans, we can teach the computer through communicating with it using a particular language. The language that computer understands is machine language, also called as binary language. Machine language is the language of zeros and ones. We give detailed instructions to the computer to solve a particular task. Programming is the term that refers to teaching, instructing or giving commands to the computer. Programming is more about problem-solving skills than writing the code itself. Programming teaches you how to understand, analyze and solve the problems. It enhances your analytical reasoning abilities and helps you cope with daily real-life problems as well. Hence, learning to program is important because it develops analytical and problem-solving abilities. Programmer. The person who gives the instructions, commands, to the computer is known as the programmer. A person who designs and writes computer programs. Instruction. Do this. Instruction. Instruction is any command given to the computer. For example, add two variables A and B. Display result. Read file. Each of these is the individual instruction to the computer. Program. Now do this. Now do this. Now do this. Program. Program is a set, collection, of instruction to do a meaningful task. A sequence of instructions that are interpreted and executed by a computer. It can be made of a single or 100 of instructions. For example, in order to teach the computer on how to calculate average of 3 numbers, we need to give multiple instructions to the computer to do the task. Program. Instruction 1. Get first number from the user and store it in a variable. Instruction 2. Get second number from the user and store it in B variable. Instruction 3. Get third number from the user and store it in C variable. Instruction 4. Add A, B, C and store the result in some variable. Instruction 5. Divide sum by 3 and store result in a VG variable. Instruction 6. Display a VG variable. Instructions 1 to 6 are used to solve a single task. This collection of instruction is known as a program. Algorithms. An algorithm is a formula or set of steps for solving a particular problem. To be an algorithm, a set of rules have a clear stopping point. Algorithms can be expressed in any language, from natural languages like English or French to programming languages like Fortran. Flowcharts. A flowchart is a graphical representation of an algorithm. Each step in the algorithm is represented by a designated symbol and is linked with arrows showing the direction of data flow. A standard set of symbols has been introduced to be used in flowcharts. A few of the commonly used symbols defined by the standard are tabled below. Pseudocode. An outline of a program, written in a form that can easily be converted into real programming statements. For example, the pseudocode for adding two number. Begin. Input num1, num2. Sum equals num1 plus num2. Display total. End.